starting with the name of Allah, who is the most beneficent and merciful. Class, today we are going to discuss about comparison between reactions of alcohol and ethers. Class, here is the main content which is being discussed in this lecture. Firstly, we discuss about silent features of alcohol, then reactivity of alcohol, then silent features of ether, and in the end we will discuss about reactivity of ether. We will discuss all these points step by step in upcoming slides. Here is a brief introduction of alcohol. As we know that alcohol is hydrocarbons derivative, that kind of hydrocarbon derivative in which there is a replacement of hydrogen atom by hydroxyl group. As we know that alcohol not only contains one hydroxyl group, but it is also a property that it contains more than one hydroxyl group. For example, if it contains one hydroxyl group, then such kind of alcohol will be named as monohydrate. Or if it contains two hydroxyl groups, such alcohol will be named as dihydrate. Instead, it contains hydroxyl group, but you can't say that it acts as a base, as you said in case of potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Actually, this hydroxyl group is being attached to carbon by using covalent bond. And in this hydroxyl group, one point is really important. Hydroxyl group contain oxygen, and oxygen is highly electronegative in nature. Plus, here is the question: why alcohol is named so? So, basically, the word alcohol is being derived from an Arabic term alcohol, which means the pine powder. If we go behind the history, you will see that Europeans basically used the terminology of spirits for the vapor which is coming from the evaporating or boiling compound, where alchemists for the first time named them alcohol or wine. Later on, this name alcohol or wine is being changed to alcohol. Now, class, let us discuss about the examples of alcohol. Firstly, we have example of methanol. This methanol is also known as wood alcohol. This wood alcohol is found in wood smoke, and one point which is very important with respect to methanol, it undergo metabolization in the body, and as a response it will produce formaldehyde and formic acid and will be responsible for the blindness or death if its quantity exceeded 50 ml. Now, on the other hand, we have ethanol, which is also named as grain alcohol. This kind of alcohol, this ethanol will be responsible to yield beers and wines. Here is the classification of alcohol. Alcohol classification is basically based on number of carbon groups which are being attached to carbon containing hydroxyl group. First type which you can see on your slide is primary. It means it is belong to only one carbon group, and then second one we have secondary. It's mean if secondary alcohol is that alcohol which is bonded to two carbon groups. Thirdly, we have tertiary. It's mean here the carbon bearing hydroxyl is further connected to the three carbon groups. So the number of hydrogen you can see on the carbon with the hydroxyl group affect the chemical properties. Primary give different response, secondary give different response, tertiary give different response. How it will show their different responses we will see as we move ahead in lecture, and we will discuss it in reactivity of alcohol one by one. Class, there is structures of primary alcohol, secondary alcohol, and tertiary alcohol. You will see that in first example, in primary one, the carbon is being attached to one R group. It means in secondary, you will see that carbon is being attached to two R groups, and we know that R contain carbons. Next, in third case, you will see that we have tertiary. In tertiary, you will see this carbon is further attached to 3R group, and we know R is an alkyl group or it contains carbon. So in other words, first primary is connected to one carbon. Second, in secondary case, the carbon which is being attached to hydroxide is further attached to two carbons. And in the same way, you will see that in third case, tertiary, this carbon having hydroxyl group is further connected to 3R group. Before we proceed ahead and study reactivity of alcohol, we are going to discuss about chemical interactions. Alcohol show two main chemical interactions. Firstly, we have molecular dipole. Secondly, we have hydrogen bonding. Let's discuss dipole. Firstly, we know that dipole movement is being present in alcohol, and main reason behind this is electronegative oxygen. Alcohol have high dipole-dipole interactions. Here is an example of dipole-dipole interaction. We know that in comparison to hydrogen bonding, this dipole-dipole interaction is much bigger. For example, in case of ethanol, you will see here dipole moment value is 1.69 divide. It's mean by nature it is polar in nature and it have very high value of dipole moment. First, we are going to discuss about our second chemical interaction, which is hydrogen bonding. As we know, the hydrogen bonding is very strong bonding as far as intermolecular forces of attraction is being concerned. In hydrogen bonding, oxygen-hydrogen bond is a polar bond. As we know, oxygen by nature is highly electronegativity in comparison to hydrogen. So, O2H bond by nature is polar as it is being confirmed by previous discussion as it has a dipole moment of ethanol, for example, we got 1.69 dipole moment divide. We say that any molecule which have O2H bond differently, such as alcohol, it should be a polar molecule. For example, you will see in this diagram, O2H bond is polar. As we will see, there is hydrogen bonding is present between different molecules of here is water. So this is the example of water, and the same way in alcohol you will find this kind of hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding energy is only 4 to 5 kilocalories per mole, and we know that this energy is very small in comparison to covalent bond, which is found to be for AO2H is 104 kilocalories per mole. But a compound which contain multiple hydrogen bonds, which have to, for that we have to break it to escape the liquid phases. We say that as we need very high energy, so it could have very high boiling point, because when we say anything have high boiling point, it means you need very high, you have to give more energy to break its bond, and that's why its boiling point is high. Alcohol, as far as alcohol is being concerned, it is a very special molecule or compound which have two parts. Its one part is hydrophilic in nature, and its other part is hydrophobic in nature. Or this is due to this hydrogen bonding ability that alcohol itself have two parts. It itself have two portions. One act as a hydrophilic and other is act as a hydrophobic. Now in the next slide we will see which part is act as a hydrophilic, and in next slide we will see which part is act as a hydrophobic. So let's proceed towards the next slide. Students, we have answered which part of alcohol is hydrophilic and which part of alcohol is hydrophobic. Firstly, we have to understand what will hydrophilic mean. It's mean water loving. And secondly, we have to understand what hydrophobic means. It's mean water heating. It will repel water. So come back to examples. So this is we have alcohol. Now, for example, let's focus on this central portion of this diagram. You will see that we have oxygen, we have it is bonded to H, but on the other side you have a long chain of carbons, as you can see. So this chain or this long chain of carbon, which is represented by R, it acts as a hydrophobic portion. It means this portion do not allow water to come in contact with it. It will repel water. But on the other hand, you will see we have O2H, and as you know, this O2H is responsible for the hydrophilic portion. It means if this portion is hydrophilic, then it will attract water. For example, here you will see in this diagram, there is an interaction of this portion with other molecules of water. The same way, this part of diagram is being in connection with other molecule of water. That's why you are saying it is hydrophilic portion or it will attract water, but you will see no water molecule here because it is hydrophobic in nature, so it will repel water. Let's discuss about acidity of alcohol. Alcohol O2H bond by nature is weakly acidic. You will see that in following reaction we have alcohol. It reacts with sodium hydride, and on this reaction there is the production of sodium methoxide. This sodium methoxide on further reaction is responsible for the production of ether plus. In addition to this ether, there is also the production of sodium bromide as you can see in the following reaction. Here is some more points regarding acidity. Let's mention it. If we increase the branches, it will increase pKa value, and if we increase or extend the alkyl chain, it also responsible for the increase of pKa value. Now here is the two examples. For example, we have methanol. Its pK value is 15.5, and next we have ethanol. Its pK value is 15.9. It's mean 15.5 value definitely is less than 15.9. So come back to previous point. We see that if we increase the branches, then pK value will be increased. Or if we increase the alkyl chain, it also responsible for the increase of pK value. As we see, here is one carbon, here is two carbon. As in second example, number of carbon is increased. Oh, this extension in alkyl chain, its pK value is being increased. Now class, let's discuss about reactivity of alcohol. Basically, alcohol undergo following reaction. Firstly, it undergo oxidation, it undergo reduction, it undergo dehydration, it undergo substitution, it undergo esterification. We will discuss all these reactions one by one, step by step. Class, firstly, we will discuss about oxidation of alcohol. We know that in previous lectures we have also mentioned that alcohols are more oxidized in nature when you compare it with alkanes. But by nature, it is less ability to be oxidized in comparison to carbonyl compounds such as ketone and aldehyde. Alcohol have property that in the presence of oxidizing agents, such as if we are using nascent oxygen, there will be conversion of alcohol into carbonyl compounds such as ketone, such as aldehyde, or such as carboxylic acid. Here is a brief summary how oxidation takes place. We see that we have different reactant, it undergo oxidation in the presence of nascent oxygen. We got different products. For example, you will see in one first case we have alkene, and you will see that here there is no oxygen atom is being present, but when it undergo oxidation in the presence of nascent oxygen, you will see that we have a primary alcohol. It has one hydroxyl group. It's mean one bond to oxygen. Now, when this primary alcohol undergo oxidation in the presence of one nascent oxygen, you will see there is the production of carbonyl compound, and which carbonyl compound is formed. You have to remember whenever primary alcohol undergo oxidation, it always produces aldehyde which have two bonds to oxygen. Now, if we further oxidize aldehyde in the presence of nascent oxygen, you will see there is the production of carboxylic acid. This carboxylic acid has three bonds which is being attached to oxygen. You can see that carbon is bonded to oxygen through two bonds, and this carbon is being attached to a hydroxyl group through one single bond. So total bond which is being bonded to oxygen is 3. Now let's proceed ahead. We will see that alkene again. We have example of alkene, and again we see that no bond to oxygen, but when it undergoes oxidation in the presence of the nascent oxygen, there is the production of secondary alcohol. You will see that in this example, in this alkene, we have only one R group, but in this case, we have two R group. It's mean When we have secondary alkane, it will always undergo oxidation. In the presence of non-acer oxidation product always will be secondary alcohol. And whenever secondary alcohol undergo oxidation in the presence of acid oxygen, the product you will get is carbonyl compound here. The carbonyl compound is a ketone. It's mean in this case we have two bonds which is connected to oxygen atom. So one point is very important here. Whenever primary alcohol undergo oxidation, it will provide us aldehyde. When secondary alcohol undergo oxidation, it will produce ketone. In case of oxidation, many oxidizing agents are many chromium reagents such as chromic acid, nitric acid, hypochlorite. They can be used in the process of oxidation of alcohol. Now, product of oxidation of alcohol depends upon either your alcohol is primary nature, either it's secondary nature, or its tertiary nature. For example, in case of secondary alcohol, whenever it undergo oxidation, there will always production of ketone. For example, you can see in following reaction, secondary alcohol on by passing through the oxidation is responsible for the production of ketone. So, you will see that in your slide there is cyclohexanol. This cyclohexanol, by in the presence of sulfuric acid, in the presence of Na2Cr7, is responsible for the production of cyclohexanol, which giving yield of 90%. Here is the formation of chromate ester. For the formation of chromate ester, students, we have two main reactants. Firstly, we have alcohol. Secondly, we have chromic acid. These two reactants on one reaction, they will be responsible for the production of chromate ester as you have been seen on your slide. After that, there is the possibility of elimination of chromate ester and oxidation of carbonyl carbon as you can see in following reaction, and we'll see in the product you have chromium with oxidation state 4. Now class, after secondary alcohol, let's discuss primary alcohol. Primary alcohol on oxidation in the presence of chromic acid is responsible for the production of aldehyde. This aldehyde on further oxidation or in the presence of nascent oxygen is responsible for the production of carboxylic acid. For example, if we see this example, we have cyclohexyl methanol. This cyclohexyl methanol is responsible for the production of cyclohexane carboxylic acid, which yield is 92%. This reaction will occur in the presence of sulfuric acid, in the presence of Na2Cr7. So, what kind of processes take place in conversion of this cyclohexyl methanol to cyclohexane carboxylic acid is oxidation of primary alcohol. Now class, moving ahead, we have been discussed primary alcohol, we have been discussed secondary alcohol. Now it's time to discuss tertiary alcohol. We see the statement on your slide, tertiary alcohol cannot undergo the process of oxidation to a carbonyl compound. Yes, the main reason is because in front of you there is the breaking of one C to C bond in this process. So, tertiary alcohol, no oxidation is possible, especially its conversion to a carbonyl compound, which is ketone and aldehyde. Students, here is a quick quiz for you. You have to answer a simple question, which is what are the major products? In each of the following oxidation is sodium dichromate in sulfuric acid. Response all these compounds one by one. Second point here is dehydrogenation of alcohol. Alcohol will undergo dehydrogenation. It depends upon either you are dealing with primary alcohol, you are dealing with secondary alcohol, you are dealing with tertiary alcohol, and this process will occur in the presence of copper gas. In addition to this copper gas, you have to provide a temperature of 400 degrees centigrade. Here the reactant is 2-butanol. This 2-butanol under this condition is responsible for the production of 2-butanol plus there is the production of hydrogen. Student, thirdly we are going to discuss about reduction of alcohol. Reduction of alcohol is rare methodology because in reduction of alcohol there is the removal of functional group. But in addition to this, reduction of alcohol can occur, but there are two methods to bring about reduction of alcohol, which is being mentioned in following reactions. In first reaction, in this first method, in which alcohol in acidic medium is converted into alkene, which in the presence of hydrogen and platinum is further converted into alkane. Now, in second methodology, alcohol in the presence of TSCl is responsible for the production of docidate, which in the presence of LiAlH4 lithium aluminum hydride is responsible for the production of product which is alkane. So you have to notice in both reactions, in both methodology, reactant product remains same. The difference comes on the path through which this reactant go through and to form the product. So it's the same reactant, same product, but yes, their conditions are different, their path is different, their intermediates are different. Next point is dehydration. Alcohol dehydration is responsible for the production of alkene. This reaction will occur in the presence of acidic medium, or it means we have to provide acidic conditions. The mechanism which is being followed in dehydration is E1 mechanism. In addition to this, in this reaction, you will see there is the rearrangement of carbocation, which is considered to be a very important step in case of primary alcohol. Now, how tertiary response, how secondary response, how primary response. So here is the answer. The ease of dehydration depends on structure of alcohol. Tertiary ease of dehydration is greater than secondary. Secondary is greater than primary one. Here is the example of points which we have been discussed before. If we have simple ethanol in the presence of acidic medium, in the presence of a high temperature 180 degrees centigrade, there is the production of ethylene, and as you know this process is dehydration. It means definitely there will be removal of water, and you will see in the product, in addition to this alkene, there is also the production of water. Here is the last reaction of alcohol, which is esterification of alcohol, which is also known as Fischer esterification. Alcohol have ability to undergo esterification. For that, it needs two reactants. Firstly, carboxylic acid. Secondly, it should contain alcohol. In addition to this, you need a catalyst which should be of acidic medium, or it will be good if it is of strong nature. As carboxylic acid, as alcohol will react with each other in the presence of acid catalyst, there will be the production of ester. In addition to this ester, there is also the formation of water. Basically, the bond which is being break during this reaction is C2OH bond. With the breakage of this bond, the new bond will be formed, which is C2OR bond, which can be shown in the forming reaction in the form of ester. In the second part of this lecture, students, we are going to discuss about ethers. We know that ethers are organic compound. It contains two alkyl group which is being attached to an oxygen. This R group can be alkyl, can be aryl, can be vinyl groups. On the basis of this R group, we can divide ether into two types. Firstly, we have symmetrical. Secondly, we have unsymmetrical. If we have symmetrical, it means there is the presence of same group on both sides of oxygen, as you have been seen in this diagram. We call it symmetrical ether as there is oxygen. Here we have two carbon, here we have two carbon. It means on both sides of oxygen there is the presence of two carbon. Where in case of unsymmetrical, we see that different groups are being present. For example, you can see in this diagram, this is unsymmetrical. We have oxygen in the center. Is on this side we have only one carbon, and on this side we have two carbon. It means on either side of oxygen there is different number of carbon is being present. So you name it as unsymmetrical ether. Here is the few examples of ether so we can understand it more clearly. Firstly, we have epoxide. Well, this epoxide by name is ethylene oxide. Next we have methyl tertiary butyl ether, and next its a brief description is given below. After it we have third ether, which is crown ether. It is named as 18 crown 6, and it is capable of binding metal ions. So these three examples are representing ether. This is representation of oxide. It is representation of ether which containing tertiary carbon, and this is the representation of crown ether. Now students, we have chemical interactions of ether. In case of chemical interactions of ether, you know that there is absence of labile hydrogen, due to which properties of ether and alcohol become different from each other. In case of alcohol, there is a hydrogen bonding which is very evident, as you can see in this diagram. Here is an alcohol. There is the possibility of hydrogen bonding with other molecule, and here is the possibility of hydrogen bonding with the other molecule. And in the same with respect to this molecule, it undergo hydrogen bonding with this molecule. Such kind of bonding is not present in ether. That's why a boiling point of alcohol is greater than ether. Ether have lower boiling point due to lack of these hydrogen bonds. Right, we are going to discuss about acidity of ether. As we know that ether do not have acidic hydrogen. Due to this reason, we can use ether in many such reaction where there is no possibility for alcohol to be used. So, as we know, it is well-known solvent which is being used in many chemical reactions, which is operated in or which is being practiced in labs. Here is the Grignard reaction. In this Grignard reaction, there is the use of ether. Now, next reaction is LAH reduction. In this reduction, you will see that there is also the use of ether. In this reaction, you will see that the reactant is carboxylic acid and the product is alcohol. Here is the reactivity of ether. Ether by nature is stable. Ether by nature is chemically inert, but still there is possibility of two reactions which can be observed in ether. Firstly, we have cleavage. Secondly, we have oxidation. As we have mentioned before, ethers are used as solvent for many organic reactions. Thus, there is our first point, which is being cleavage. Ether have ability to undergo cleavage in the presence of hydrogen halide, but hydrogen iodide and hydrogen bromide is considered to be more effective to promote cleavage of ether, where in case of hydrogen chloride, it makes the process of cleavage less effective, where we know hydrogen fluoride, which contains very highly electronegative fluorine, does not cause significant cleavage in case of ether. Here you will see that there are three reactions. In first reaction, you will see that there is an ether which is being attached to one side R, when another side is being attached to benzene ring. You will see that in the presence of hydrogen iodide, this will convert itself into alcohol, and it also converts itself into presence of CH3 ion. In second reaction, you will see there is ether which in the presence of hydrogen iodide will convert itself in the into alcohol. In addition to this alcohol, there is the production of iodine which is being further attached to 2 carbon. Now, in third reaction, you will see we have ether which in the presence of water, which in the presence of sulfuric acid will convert itself into 2 alcohol, as you can see in third reaction. Now, in the second part of reactivity of ether, we are going to discuss about auto-oxidation. Ether have ability to undergo auto-oxidation, and for that you need an oxygen to whom it is being exposed for a long period of time. In product, you will see there is the production of peroxide and hydroperoxide. Both products are highly unstable and explosive in nature. You will see here is an ether, here is an excess of oxygen. As a response, as a reaction, it will form two products, hydroperoxide, dialkyl peroxide, and both are highly unstable and explosives. Now, let's summarize our whole discussion. We have been already discussed silent features of alcohol, their reactivity, the silent features of ether, their reactivity. Now, let's summarize the main points. Firstly, alcohol contains hydrogen bonding and alcohol is reactive in nature, where on the other hand, ether is stable and inert. It contains no hydrogen bonding. As you see on the both sides of oxygen, there is a presence of R group. R is representation of alkyl group, which is chain of carbon. Where second point is that all the reactions you have been observed before, it include either the cleavage of O2H bond or there will be cleavage of C2O bond. Now, student, in case of ether, you have been given statement that ether is stable, chemically inert. We know that C2O bond is present in ether, it is not so easy to break this C2O bond. In addition to this point, ether do not show any chemical reaction with base, any chemical reaction with oxidizing agent, reducing agent, and there is no chemical reaction with active metals. That's why you give statement ether is stable, chemical inert, but they can be used as a solvent in many chemical-organic reactions which have been taken place in the laboratories. At the end of lecture, students, you have an assignment. You have to search at least two examples of each reaction mentioned in a lecture. In addition to this, students, you have to search different